guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a video on, as you can tell, money saving tips. Let me put a disclaimer out there because I feel like I need to. I'm not a financial advisor, obviously. These are just tips that I've done throughout my life that has really helped me. I don't know why they didn't teach these at school. Why did they teach us how to do the Pythagorean theorem and like not teach us about 401ks, retirements, and saving your money? Like the things that will help us in our adult life. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. I broke this down into 4 different categories and I will walk through all of those. So the first category is entertainment. First off, I'm a very big foodie. I love trying different types of food. I didn't want to stop myself from doing that because that's something that brings me joy, and I'm spending money on, yes, food, but essentially the experience. When I used to work at an office, I would bring my own food because I didn't want to buy lunch. I would think about it like this, like I'm not going to the cafeteria during lunch because I enjoy the cafeteria food. I am going there because A, I either didn't pack my lunch, or B, I was lazy. So I would make sure that every meal that I had for lunch was brought from home, and that saved me a ton of money, and every time I would go out to eat I wouldn't feel guilty because that's something that I actually enjoy doing. So the next one that falls under entertainment are drinks. If you guys are of the legal age to drink, then this part of the video is for you. So I don't want to sound like I was like binge drinking. I don't condone binge drinking, but I'm gonna be real, like pregame. If you could drink 1 or 2 drinks at home and then only drink like 1 drink at the bar, you can save so much money as opposed to like going straight from your home to your bar and then like drinking 2 or 3 drinks there. I live in Los Angeles and every drink is like maybe $10-ish, and after tip, that's like $30-some that you would spend just on drinks. And another thing that I also realized was like a lot of restaurants, they allow you to bring your own bottle of wine and you just have to pay for the cork fee, and the cork fee is, I don't know, like $20-30, and that's so much cheaper than buying a glass of wine at dinner, and everyone else can have it too. So, you know, just be smart about it. Like I said, not condoning binge drinking, but if you guys are going out to drink, I've found that if I just pregame at home, I save a lot more money that way. The second category is purchases. Once I started this like decluttering process, I've shifted my mind to consuming less. So I realized that like once I started consuming less, I just wanted less, which equated to me not spending money on stuff, things. I was like one of those people that would go to Target, buy things just because. Once I realized that I just wanted to consume less, I stopped doing that and I stopped wanting to do that. And I'm a big believer in using like coupons if they're available. You know, why not? Like for instance, a Target cartwheel. That is like one of my biggest tips if you guys don't have the cartwheel app. I'll link the video that I did. I think it was like a Target hack video that I did a while back. It might not save you like hundreds of dollars, but it'll help you get a better understanding of like your money and where you're spending it. So that's kind of another reason why I like to use coupons when I can. The next one, and this is probably like the most important, if you take one thing away from this video, I hope it's this one. It's essentially keeping up with the Joneses. Basically like wanting the next best thing because somebody else has that thing. Maybe somebody else has a BMW and you want a BMW. And maybe somebody else has this really nice apartment and you want this apartment, or this phone and you want the latest phone, etc. It is so bad to continuously compare yourself to other people. When I was younger, I wanted the latest phone. And phones are freaking expensive. So, you know, don't get caught up in wanting something else because somebody else has something, because this is gonna be a rat race. You're just going to always constantly want something because there's always gonna be someone who's better than you, smarter than you, whatever. Unless you're like Warren Buffett, then like, no, you're not gonna be like that rich. If you want something because you truly feel like that's gonna bring you joy, then that's completely fine. Like for example, I've always wanted a Range Rover. That's like my dream car, but I'm not getting the Range Rover because I wanna be better than this person, or I wanna have a better car than this person. And I'm not telling you guys to like not buy any materialistic items or anything like that, but you know, just be cautious of it and make sure that you're buying items because you actually personally want it and not because you're like comparing yourself to somebody else. The third category is swallowing your pride. I lived on my own for about 3 years, I lived in Minneapolis and in DC, and I spent a lot on rent. I just ended up spending a lot more than I had wanted. A lot of my income was actually going straight into my rent, which is ridiculous. Let's just say, for instance, that my rent was $1,000 a month. So if it was $1,000 a month and I lived on my own for 3 years, that's $36,000 that I just kind of, not even kind of, like I did. I wasted $36,000. Granted, I didn't have the option to live elsewhere. I couldn't live with a family member or anything like that. And I kind of felt like, okay, this is like my first time living on my own. And I kind of felt like I lived out of my means. And I definitely could have gotten a smaller or cheaper apartment, and I didn't because I just felt like I could afford it. So after I lived in Minneapolis and in DC, I moved back to California. I decided that I was gonna move in back with my dad. I've been living with my dad for 3 years now. And for me, it was something where I had to swallow my pride because a lot of my friends are either getting their place or they're renting nice, luxurious apartments. And you know, it's nice to see because as much as I love this home, it's not really like mine because I can't like decorate it the way I want to or whatever. So it kind of took me a while to really accept me living here because I'm 27 years old. And granted, I'm not living here for the rest of my life. I just wanted to live here so that I could save money because I spent so much on rent that I didn't have the chance to save and essentially have enough money so that when I do have the opportunity to buy my own place or buy my own condo, I have the money to do so. The last category is financial intelligence. Once I started working and having a stable income, I really sat down and analyzed my daily habits. I created an Excel spreadsheet where I wrote down every single thing that I was spending my money on. If it was $1 on parking, it was on there. I could look at my bank account and see all the spendings, but I used to categorize which things I was spending my majority of my money on. And I think now there's probably a lot of apps or websites where it'll break those down for you, but I didn't have that luxury because I don't think there was a website like that at the time. So if you haven't analyzed your daily habits, I would highly, highly suggest that you start off there, and it gives you a really, really good high-level overview of your expenses. The next thing is to pay yourself first. After reading The Richest Man in Babylon, they talk about how you should invest 10% into yourself before you spend it on anything else. And you have to have a lot of discipline for this because that 10% that you're saving isn't so that you could spend it on something like just materialistic. It's that 10% that you're keeping so that you can use it as an investment. And if you don't feel comfortable with investing, then just putting aside that $10,000, that 10% is going to be so helpful in the long run because you'll never really realize how much money you're saving until you put it away and then look back at it. A small tip, if you work for a company that provides retirement programs like 401ks or stuff like that, I would highly recommend that you look into those programs. If you guys have any of that available for you, I would definitely utilize that. The last thing is essentially just educating yourself. So I am not, like I said, a financial advisor and I'm still learning as I go, but I've been reading a lot. I just finished Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That book and The Richest Man in Babylon are two books that I would highly recommend if you're just starting out on trying to save money. They're books about just stories that you can follow along. They're very easy reads, and it just helps you get a better understanding of like what you can do to make more money or save more money and just work smarter and not harder. So those are all my tips and personal experiences on how I essentially save and manage my money. Hopefully you guys can relate to at least one or two things and you guys can implement those tips. And that wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!